the Bengaluru Police arrested 2 of the 5 caretakers booked in connection with the alleged abuse of toddlers at a daycare centre operating inside Capgemini's Brookefield campus in the city. Vijay Lakshmi was taken into custody after investigators confirmed that she was the caretaker seen in the viral video, allegedly assaulting the children. A second woman connected with the daycare centre was also arrested by the police. The police booked all 5 accused under relevant provisions of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children's Act. The case came to light after a child helpline official received 4 videos allegedly showing children being subjected to ill treatment at the daycare centre located on the premises of Capgemini's campus in Brookefield. The official later filed a complaint with Bengaluru's HAL Police. According to police sources, the videos were recorded by a staff member whose friend had been fired from the same daycare centre last month. The videos appear to show toddlers aged between 2 and 3 being placed inside a front-loading washing machine, sprayed with the water from a toilet jet, locked inside toilets and threatened into silence. Those are the horrific visuals on your screens right now. Of course, it is one whistleblower who sent across these disturbing videos to a helpline, after which this entire episode of assault on children came to light. And now, of course, the Bengaluru Police has arrested 2 of the 5 caretakers booked in connection with the alleged abuse of toddlers at a daycare centre operating inside Capgemini's Brookefield campus in the city. Now, Vijay Lakshmi was arrested after investigators confirmed that she was the caretaker seen in the viral video, allegedly assaulting the children. A second woman connected with the daycare centre has also been arrested by the police. The police booked all the 5 accused under relevant provisions of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act. The case came to light after a child helpline official received 4 videos allegedly showing children being subjected to ill treatment at the daycare centre located on the premises of Capgemini's campus in Brookefield. The official later filed a complaint with the Bengaluru's HAL Police. And according to the police sources, the videos were recorded by a staff member whose friend had been fired from the same daycare centre last month. My colleague Sneha Koshi is joining me right now to get us more details on the story. Sneha, what we are playing out on our screens right now is absolutely horrific. And to think of it that this is happening in Bengaluru's Capgemini's Brookefield campus, one ends up to shudder thinking what must be happening at other such places that has got this so-called child care. Is it not the company's responsibility to ensure that there is regular checks to see what is happening in these child care centres?
It is, Samya, it is. And as you mentioned very correctly, this is an on-campus daycare. This is an on-campus creche, which essentially means it's not just something which is randomly set up somewhere or parents reach out to this. This is essentially for those who are working in that particular company. So it's not just about 2 nannies who were arrested. The buck cannot stop with the nannies alone. For sure, there were the nannies who are responsible for them. Action has to be taken against them as well. But the buck cannot stop. The Capgemini has to be answerable and accountable, even if they have subletted this. Contracted this daycare facility out and it was somebody else's responsibility. It was functioning in Capgemini location, and while Capgemini is saying that they are cooperating with all the probe that is taking place, the question still remains. There is no FIR against Capgemini. There is no crackdown against Capgemini. There are no suspensions from Capgemini. So does this mean that Capgemini was not involved in any form of supervisory roles, inspections? There were no audit parties, third-party audit systems that were set up. There was CCTV present there. So CCTVs were not being monitored. Did Capgemini not try and find out whether there was being monitored at all? Who was the person who sacked the so-called whistleblower in this particular case when this was brought out to the notice for the first time? Was it Capgemini? Was it the daycare facility? Didn't the Capgemini get to know about these questions? These are just some basic questions that are coming on. Of course, I mean, hours after this video really became viral and there was a countrywide outrage over it, 2 nannies have now been arrested, but that's just, very much at the surface. Because every time there seems to be a furore, there seems to be a horror that's emerging out of daycare centers. We remember what happened in Mumbai. We remember what happened in Bengaluru earlier itself. There have been instances of how children have been bitten at daycare centers. There have been instances how they have been bitten and beaten. They have been sexually assaulted, physically assaulted. These are instances that we have brought out in the past as well. And when there is no accountability, there is no systemic accountability in place, this is bound to happen. A simple question that we are asking, if the nation is moving towards one nation, one poll, can't we even have a basic plan in place where you have a single policy for daycares across the country, there is tight scrutiny, there is tight monitoring, because at the end of the day, the country, the government, the center, as well as the state governments are pushing for women to return to the workforce. And if women, many of them mothers, have to return to the workforce to ensure that their children are safe, has to become a priority.
Absolutely, Sneha. And to think of it that they are young children, many of them may not be able to go and narrate their ordeal. These videos, of course, surfaced because there was one particular staff member whose friend had been fired from the same daycare center, and perhaps out of being a disgruntled former employee, these videos were shared. But what happens to several other such children who may have been subjected to something similar in different childcare? Is there a need for the administration, the state government also to make an intervention as far as regular checks and inspections are concerned?
Absolutely, Samya, and I think that's where the policy issue really comes in. We do not have a daycare policy.
Yes.
We do not have a daycare policy. It is not a priority. It is not a priority for any state government. It is not a priority for a center. And that's where it all starts. There are certain things in place, like you need to have frequent inspections of daycare centers. Obviously, there seems to be no teeth. There is no regulatory body that really looks into all of this. So it's a free run for everyone. It's just based on trust and understanding that the child will be safe there. Of course, there are, it's not like all daycare centers are there like this. You have daycare centers where you have real-time access to what's happening in those daycare centers. You can monitor it on your app through the CCTV that is provided there. You have regular feedbacks. You have surprise checks. So there are daycare centers that are functioning well. This is an absolute horror. One, because this is a daycare center. Two, because this is at, IT tech giants campus. Three, because, and as you mentioned, and as you and I both, we understand that a 2-year-old often is just learning how to wear one's t-shirt, one's pants, one's undergarments, tie one's lace. They're dropping food all over the place. They have to be fed, or they have to be patiently taken through the process of eating it by themselves. And it's quite a bit of a job by itself. It can be daunting. It can be overwhelming. So were these nannies trained? Were these nannies trained for the job that they were in is also a very big question. And that's a question across daycare centers as well.
Of course, Sneha, a lot of sensitivity that is required when it comes to dealing with children, especially when it comes to training of the nannies. But we shall leave it at that for the moment. Thank you for getting us all those details and sharing your insight.